very special guest tonight. I have two people joining me on the soul stage, Evans Oghenekevwe and Oluwalonimi Tinuoye. Guys, I hope I got your pronunciations correct there. They're joining us. Two very special first graduates of the Ananse Fashion Incubator Scholarship Program in Lagos, Nigeria. Evans, also known as Evans Moon, is an aspiring fashion entrepreneur, storyteller, and media personality. Just 3 months ago, he had no formal fashion training, but today he's building Evans Moon Afrique, a brand rooted in culture and identity. And Oluwalonimi Tinuoye, who came in from a business and entrepreneurship background. Through Ananse, she discovered her design talent, went on to win the Pan-African Menswear Design Challenge, and is now focused on building businesses that grow Africa's creative and manufacturing ecosystems. Hey, lady and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And yes, you didn't really murder the name. At least I would give you a 7 for that.
I tried.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I want to start off with congratulating both of you as part of the first set of graduates. What did it mean to you to be selected for the flagship Ananse Fashion Incubator Scholarship Program? Starting off with you, Evans.
Okay, thank you very much. I think for me that was like a stamp of telling myself that dreams don't die, right? And it's also encouraged me to the fact that whatever dream that you have, if you put yourself out there, opportunity is going to meet with you. Because I've always loved fashion as a kid, but I didn't really have the resources to do that because I came from a family where we didn't have not even a wooden spoon here. So, the resources were not as valuable at that time, but the dream has always been there. So when I applied for the opportunity and amongst over, hundreds of applicants like myself and to be selected, that was really, really awesome and, beautiful to see as well.
You mentioned that you came from a very, very difficult background, but you now, and now you are getting into an interesting and very quick-paced industry. Now, as a graduate, what opportunities do you think are now available for you?
Okay, there are a lot of opportunities. Thank you very much for that question. There are a lot of opportunities, that's open to fashion in the fashion ecosystem. Before now, I always thought that once you're a fashion designer, because it's the usual thing in my locality. Once you want to learn fashion, you sign for a vocation, training and pay a fee, and after that you are on the sewing machine. But going for an Ananse Incubator, program, made me understand there are various career paths that are available in the fashion ecosystem. You can be a quality control personnel, you can be a production manager, and of course, you can be a sewing machine operator, which is the SMO. And so for me personally, since I love storytelling, and as you read in my bio, I love, to tell African stories. So I'm currently actively, chasing a career path in marketing and PRO.
Let me go to Oluwalonimi right now. You have a different kind of background, more into business. Now you're going into fashion. Why would you want to do that?
Oh, thank you so much for having me on this call, on this conversation. I'm so grateful. I think the decision came from a combination of, curiosity and the desire to expand my understanding of an industry. I had already begun to interact with, while I was younger, I had interest in fashion for such a very long time. And I used to tell myself that, I know I'm going to go into fashion someday, but I wasn't sure when. Right. I'd always been interested in business as well. So I began to chase fashion. I studied business first, business and entrepreneurship, right? And when I had the opportunity to, go into the Ananse Fashion Incubator program, I was so excited, right? And over the past few months, it has helped shape my my fashion background, right? And I can remember that going into the incubator program, I had zero knowledge in fashion. I mean, zero knowledge. I didn't know anything, right? But coming out now as a graduate, I am very certain that I have learned so many things, the technical process, the creativity, right? And it has helped me build myself in this industry.
So I believe it's an intensive 3-month journey from beginner to proficiency.
Yeah.
What were the biggest surprises for you? You know, having come from a business background and now you're going into fashion, what surprised you the most?
For me, the biggest surprise was, the technical fashion aspect, the practical part, right? The garment construction, the pattern making, the digital clothes 3D making. It was quite challenging for me because I found it difficult, to cope. And also the sewing aspect, when I started at first, I used to tell myself that when am I going to stop losing? Because I used to lose a lot, right? But then over like 5 weeks into the program, I was able to get balance. And yeah, also another challenge I had was I usually get to Ananse very early in the mornings because I was trying to cut traffic. I always get Ananse about, let's say, before 6:30 every morning, sometimes before 6 a.m. And I also leave very late at night, right? I was telling my friend that I don't think I see the daylight at all. For the past 3 months, right? I don't think I see daylight at all because I go very early and I come back like very late in the night. So yeah, that was quite challenging, but then it still helped me grow. I learned discipline, I learned consistency, right, through this process.
Can you walk us through the hands-on training you received from pattern making and garment construction to digital pattern making using 3D? How challenging was that for you?
So yeah, we learned about design development, yeah. We learned understanding a concept, creating patterns. We learned cutting of fabric, garment construction, and finishing. We learned how important accuracy is at every stage because a mistake in one stage can affect the entire garment, right? So, and we're also introduced to digital pattern making and cloth 3D. It opened my mind to the future of fashion. Actually, it showed me how technology can support the design and development process. Right, it allows me to visualize garments digitally, and potentially it helps me reduce waste as well before physical production. So I think what I appreciated most was that the training connected traditional craftsmanship with technology and modern industry practices.
Fantastic. My guest tonight from the Ananse Africa competition, two winners, and we'll right back. Evan, stand by. We'll be back in just a moment. This right here is African Diaries Soul Stage. Have a couple of guests with me tonight. Back to Evans. Beyond the technical skills, the program also covered digital marketing, e-commerce branding, and financial literacy. How important was the business aspect of the training in fashion for you?
Oh, okay. I'm someone who likes money, so when there's money conversation, I'm always I'm always very attentive. Yeah. So for me, that was one of my highlights. When they teach us about structure, right, financial literacy, and everything. Because what we've seen in recent times is that the not just restricting the conversation to open fashion. If we will make it a broad spectrum, it's not a lack of creative problem that we have in my country, Nigeria. What we have is the structure problem and the ability and the fact that processes cannot be repeated across board. So when we had classes like that, we understood that. So you had to know pricing, you had to know how to price your product, you had to know how to cost your product, you had to know what was going in because there are so many variables that you should make up your totality of your cost, and sometimes you do not take account of those things. So when we had the financial literacy class, it helped me understand that there's a lot of overhead cost that is missed in the process sometimes when you are calculating. And if you are going to stay in business, you must understand these things. So it was a very great opening for me. And when we talk about branding, of course, people pay more for branding than even the core product itself. Because the reason why you're going to get a bottle of Coke down the street for, let's say, 500, and you're getting it in a hotel for 1,500 or 2,000 is the branding. So they told us that it's important for you to package your product and also position your product, because there's always a perceived value from your consumers and your customers or your client base when they see your product in a certain way. So understanding all of those things, has really helped me, or it's going to help me going forward in building my, fashion brand, Evans Moon Afrique.
Evans, a key part of the program is developing an individual or collective collaboration. What was the experience building a collection and a portfolio in such a very short time, in just 3 months?
Well, I would really like to start the story from the very beginning. I am someone who never thought that I could ever sketch. So I felt like that's not for me. I felt like maybe it's something God gave to some persons, some special people. So, but seeing that through mentorship and guidance, I was able to sketch my designs first on, on a plain paper, and to see that, oh, I can actually do this thing if I put my mind to it. So that was really something that I find, inspiring as well. That, and also it has helped me, going forward, that whatever you put your mind to do, that you can actually achieve it. And in the words of one of our tutors, he would say, don't overthink it. You can do it. It's all in the mind, Mr. Tammy. And seeing that kind of words and being in the space of Ananse, first of all, inspires you to just even think that everything is possible. And to see that I was able to do, come up with a collection, a cohesive collection, not just a collection, but it was consistent, in terms of the fabric choice, in terms of the color system, in terms of the play with pockets and line. It's surprising to me in 3 months for somebody who did not know anything coming into the fashion space, and doing that because of the mentorship that we had in Ananse. It's really, really mind-blowing.
All right, we're talking to some of our winners from Ananse, Africa. Oluwalonimi, you won the Pan-African Menswear Design Challenge as a lady during the program. What did the experience teach you about combining creativity, culture, and craftsmanship?
Yeah, so for me, winning the challenge was a very special experience for me, right? Especially because it was a Pan-African Menswear Design Challenge. It taught me that creativity becomes even more powerful when it is connected to identity and culture, right? I learned that African fashion does not have to be limited to traditional interpretations. We can take our cultural references, our textiles, our stories, and our heritage, and reinterpret them in ways that feel contemporary and relevant. But creativity alone is not enough, actually. So the idea still has to be well executed. The craftsmanship, the construction, and the finishing have to support the creative vision. That experience taught me, to see design as a balance between creativity, culture, and technical execution. And I can remember that while Mr. Temi Owoduni said we should go on along with the challenge, I had issues at first because I was doubting myself, right? But like you always say, don't overthink it. You can do it. So yeah, I'm happy I actually did it.
If you can think it, you can get it done.
Yes.
What was your most valuable lesson you learned about craftsmanship and quality control during this program?
The most valuable lesson was that quality cannot be added at the end of production. That has to be considered from the beginning, right? Quality control is not just checking whether a finished garment looks beautiful. It involves paying attention to the fabric, measurements, the construction, the stitching, the finishing, and how the final product functions eventually. I learned that the smallest details can affect the quality of the entire garment. A beautiful design with poor construction is still not a quality product, actually. So, and also it must meet the customer's preference as well.
Let's turn over to Evans. You're building Evans Moon Afrique. Evans, a brand inspired by culture and storytelling. How did Ananse help you turn curiosity into a real business? And are you confident you're going to make it?
Yeah, I'm very positive, very confident I'm going to make it very 100%. And just adding to what my sister Lumi has said, the problem has never been creativity, right? It's structure, is having a repeatable, processes. What if we have a quality garment is made in Nigeria? Can that same garment be exported, the processes be exported to another location and we can have that? So for me as a storyteller, I've done my first, experiment with my collection Emergence, where I actually talked about, coming from Delta State down to Lagos, and I saw the reception that the experiment got. I saw the acceptance from people, and it's not just about the clothing now. It's about the story behind it. It's about the journey that I had to sell with that story. So people connected to it more because they could see themselves in the story. And I think that going with that, into my business, I'm not just going to come up with collection, but I'm going to come up with relatable stories like those big brands that we admire. For instance, Just Do It. By just saying that, you already know, the brand I'm talking about. You already know because they sell aspiration. They don't just sell, sport wares. They sell, things that you can do, like Red Bull, for instance. These are whole stories, and like I always say, storytelling is one of the most huge industry. People pay to go to cinemas. It's not because the actors are good; it's because of storytelling. So learning the basics of storytelling and how to tell the right story would always evoke purchase from your client base here.
Who would you perhaps name as the two most talented designers that inspired you, both internationally and locally?
Should I go first or do you need to go first?
Okay, you go first, and then Alona
Okay.
can come.
For me, I look at Ugomoye. Is a Nigerian designer, and I just restrict myself because like I said before, I'm a Pan-African brand. So Ugomoye and Shea Hoodie, those are my two tops. In terms of business and structure, I look at Shea Hoodie, and in terms of design, craftsmanship, and also the cultural idea behind garment pieces, I look at Ugomoye.
Great stuff. Oluwalonimi, who are the most celebrated and recognized designers, two, maybe you can name two or three, that have inspired you and your journey?
Well, for me, I would say Vicky James, right? Even while I still at Ananse, many people tease me a lot with Vicky James because I always talk about her. For me, I just like the way she has built structure around her business, right? And I like her journey. Her story inspires me a lot.
Fantastic. Promise was also in the program focusing on shoemaking. For you two in design and business, how did learning alongside specialists in shoes, handbags, and garments make and shape your perspective in this business?
We are on Open Views Audio Bouquet, channel 628.
Let me find out if my two friends are still on the line. Evans, can you hear me?
I can hear you. So I didn't know if the question was directed to me or me. So
Okay.
I think it was directed to Promise.
Yeah, it was directed to Oluwalonimi, and then we'll come back to you in a moment. Oluwa?
Oh,
Go
I
ahead
thought
with
it
your
was
response.
directed to Promise. All right.
Yes. I was saying Promise was also in the program focusing on shoemaking, handbags, and that kind of stuff. How did that shape your perspective in the business?
All right. So I believe that skilled vocational training is, extremely important as well because it connects education directly to practical skills and economic opportunities. So right now in Africa, there are many young people with talent and creativity. So I believe that we can merge, shoemaking, we can merge bag making. We can merge everything into one, and it all encompasses around fashion as well. So we can all work together, right, to build this industry.
Okay, before I go over to Evans, another question for you. Being among the first graduate comes with responsibility. How do you hope to represent the Ananse brand and the standard it is setting for creative education on the African continent? Hello, can you hear me? Evans, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so I'm going to pose that question to you as well. Among being the first graduate comes with responsibility. How do you hope to represent the Ananse brand and the standard it is setting for creative education on the African continent?
Okay, so I would like to say that to whom much is given, much is expected. So for me, with the relevant skills and knowledge that I've been equipped with, I would continue to lend my voice, in conversations surrounding fashion, African fashion, Nigerian fashion, that borders around structure, because we need to put the structure in place. It's not enough to say that, oh, we make amazing designs, but is there structure in place that's going to sustain our business? So I'll continue to lend my voice. I'll continue to be a leading voice, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa, when it comes to fashion conversation around sustainability of African fashion business, because we've seen in recent times that the African fashion business do not, span for a long time. We really get brands who are over 100 years, based in my country. It's always, they do a long run, and after that, it's gone. So, but we want to see more sustainable fashion business. So that's where people like us who have been equipped with the right knowledge from Ananse would continue to, upskill as well, and also lend our voices, to relevant conversations in fashion. So yeah.
All right. So Evans, sounds good. You both talk about impact beyond fashion. So Evans with Splash Initiative and Oluwalonimi with the community and enterprise development. How can fashion be used as a tool for youth development? I'll start off with you, Oluwalonimi.
So yeah, I would say fashion can be a powerful tool, right, for youth development, because it provides skills, employment, and opportunities for entrepreneurship. Beyond that, fashion gives young people the opportunity to tell their stories, express their identity, through training. Young people can move from simply consuming fashion to becoming creators, producers, and business owners. Like Evans mentioned earlier as well, there are quite a lot of opportunities in the fashion industry, just like quality control, production manager role, and so many other roles, right? I believe that when we invest in creative skills, we are not just teaching people how to make products, right? We are giving them tools to create livelihoods. They are building businesses, and they are contributing to their communities, right? So this is what I'm trying to do personally through my brand, Names Africa, and I'm going to be connecting it to an initiative called Light Home, where we'll be empowering young ones as well.
Okay. All right. And for you, Evans?
Okay, I think just adding to what Nini has said, through mentorship, if we can be like this in the space of 4 months or 3 months rather, and we've seen how far we've grown and how far we've learned through the right mentorship. So I think for us, going forward is our duty to, shine the light and also pass the baton to others, and through right mentorship, all the young ones and the young creative, coming after us as well. And as she said, there's a lot of opportunities in the fashion ecosystem. It doesn't end and start with, operating the sewing machine. You can build an active career as a quality control personnel, and you can build a career also as even a sewing machine operator. So yeah, so giving back, it's one of the ways that we can do by teaching people, and also coming up with seminars, both online and offline as well, of which we intend to do, to continue this education, because that is one of the core pillars of Ananse, to equip African designers. So we would pass on the light to other people and make them see, oh, there's a path here if you know how to do it. And the words of the famous philosopher that I love, He said, if you teach people how to think, they would know what to think. So even in my country, there's something that trended, some weeks back, Olodo uprising. We can tell young people that, oh, there are people who, with the right skill and the right knowledge, whatever is obtainable from, other fraudulent means, you can actually do it. And also promote the idea of earning honest and decent living as well. So yeah.
Fantastic. I want to thank both of you as the Ananse Africa winners for having been part of tonight's show. We call this Soul Stage. Thank you to Evans as well as Oluwalonimi. You guys have been brilliant. I only wish you the best and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. This is African Diaries.